People's Radio United.
We're just misappropriating funds, this is like the biggest complaint I have right now, financially speaking, with, our fucking asshole in chief, is the fact that he's spending huge amounts of federal money to, quote unquote, go do his work at a satellite office that isn't an office. It's a business. It's his business. Everywhere his kids go, everywhere his wife is, everywhere anybody attached in the loosest possible way to him, his business, or his family has to have Secret Service protection wherever they go. And it's costing a fortune. I mean, it's costing an absolute fortune that could be going to the actual people that this government is supposed to be governing and watching out for and doesn't give a shit about, apparently.
You'd be surprised how many people I see when I say something like everyone should get health care. We pay our taxes, we should all get health care. They always jump in like, you don't understand economics. That's communism you want. That's this and that, And how do you propose pay for that? Well, how about we don't how about we defund a lot of this military, since we have the biggest, giantest, most disgusting military in the world. We stop militarizing our police. We stop funding Israel. I give them all these reasons, and they always, that's horrible. That's this and that. I mean, these people are crazy.
But apparently we need this giant military because, now, like, as of this morning, the Trump administration is refusing to negotiate with North Korea on nukes. So, they're talking preemptive actions. Got to have that military if we're going to be preemptively attacking people, right?
These
or not, fuck, man.
These people who say, government or, healthcare for everybody is communism, spending our taxes on that's communism. Let me break this down into a language, if any of those people are listening, that those people would understand. It was communism when they taxed us. It was already that. So what do you want for that? Do you want militarized police who are free to kick in your door because they don't like you and they can say they thought you had weed? Or do you want insurance? Do you want health care?
I think it's even simpler than that. A lot of the same people who are opposed to universal health care are the same people who are saying that they're terrified that by the time they get another 10 years on or whatever and they're ready to retire, that there's not going to be enough in the Social Security that they paid into in their taxes every time they paid taxes to cover their retirement, right? That their pension essentially will be non-existent. It's like, well, how about let's talk about, do you want to live to that 10-year mark? Do you and everyone you know have the ability to live another 10 years if you get cancer tomorrow? If you're diagnosed with cancer tomorrow and you cannot afford your treatments, you will not live to see Social Security whether it exists or not. You will not be on Medicare whether it exists or not. So, like, Medicare for all would guarantee that people will live to actually see their Social Security.
Yeah, I don't understand how that's not just a human right we should have.
Well, yeah, it's like I don't want government, and of course, if there wasn't government, there would be no free healthcare for everybody, unless people came together and there was like a co-op kind of thing, which I think would be pretty awesome. But if we have to have government and we have to pay taxes, I want healthcare. I want that. I want to not be sweating that. I want to know that if I step out, if I cross the street at a green light and a car hits me, and that driver doesn't have insurance, I want to know that I don't have to choose between, being able to get the care I need to live, or, selling everything I own, which isn't much, but
Well, this is the thing. This, if in a world where there are taxes, where we pay taxes when we shop at the store, where we pay taxes if you happen to be lucky enough to be a homeowner, if you pay taxes because you make an income, right? There's taxes left, right, and center that go to local, state, and federal governments that therefore are supposed to be distributed equitably and fairly to support infrastructure, programs, etc., that benefit the people who've paid those taxes. That's what that money is for. You're paying into a system that is supposed to support you, right? That's what a quote-unquote Republican or Democratic government is supposed to do. So when we're looking at roads that are falling apart, bridges collapsing, an education system that is just completely failing to educate and is continuing to produce more and more uneducated voters, which goes to, again, supporting the system and not the people the system is supposed to support. No health care, so we're dying. We're paying for plenty of incarceration, though, so that's great. We're covering that angle. With the school to prison pipeline. No graduation, but you'll go straight to juvie and then off to jail. All these taxes. If this is the system, that's how they're supposed to work. Is they're supposed to be funneled back at the constituency, the people who pay them and do the voting.
Yeah, education too. I mean, I think everything should be free for people. Like these are things people should. Imagine if everyone had access to free education. Imagine where this country could be technologically. And I mean, you think we're somewhere now. Imagine a whole country full of really educated people that aren't living in debt, struggling to survive.
And imagine if that covered not just public education through high school, which it supposedly does, even though that's vastly underfunded. But imagine not just higher education in college, but I'm talking about trades and things, because again, infrastructure is a real thing. The world needs plumbers and bridge builders and all of this, and in this country we devalue that. So in a world that has all of these taxes, there should be no excuse for not funding education that actually goes to helping people to sustain a living wage, continue to pay their taxes into that system, and build a world where we don't have to worry about a bridge falling out from under us and going to a hospital that we can't afford and don't understand the paperwork on because we can barely read.